yesterday I encountered a video. It was a YouTube short. So yes, I also like to kill my brain cells mindlessly scrolling on social media. Well, I have an infinite amount of them, so haha, screw you, I can do that. But I was watching this short, and it was an excerpt from an interview of Carl Sagan, and he was talking about children and their curiosity. How curious children are, and how it goes away when they grow up. So essentially, the same old very popular notion that everyone is a scientist. Scientists like to do this whenever they talk about children. Well, every child is a scientist, of course, and it is interchangeable. When philosophers talk about children, they too use the children as their cattle, who they will label as whatever they would like, and what they like to label people as is a philosopher. In fact, philosophers even go a step further in some way. They like to label everyone as a philosopher. And so if you ever find yourself at a lecture which concerns itself with the subject of, well, with the question of what is philosophy, there will be a very slow motioned yet clumsy. That is a very weird combination for a person. I don't know how that can be possible, but a very slow motion but clumsy person walking up to a podium, and then I don't know, they're just speaking like, oh yes, we typically think of philosophers, and they speak very slowly for some reason. I don't know what's the need to speak so slowly, but yes, I'll ramp this up to 2x. We typically think of philosophers as academicians, but really there is a philosopher in each one of us. And right, okay. So everyone is a philosopher. They pull the most effective trick, the trick of universalization. So okay, whatever I am, you are too. And so whatever I am must be okay. If I am a moron, and I somehow convince everyone that they're a moron as well, they're precisely what I am, then I no longer need to defend the fact that I'm a moron. Oh yes, I'm a moron, but you all are morons as well. How great. So let us celebrate this fact. Let us celebrate our unity in our human spirit of being a moron. Oh yes. Now, Carl Sagan, through his argument, does this for children. The philosopher is a completely, different deal. He's in his own league. Let's talk about Carl Sagan's argument. He says, children are so lifelike when they are young. They ask such profound questions. What is green? What is this thing? And, okay, these are inches. What are inches? And how many inches do you have in your pants? And, well, right, all of these profound questions. Right. And this goes away as they grow up, Carl Sagan claims. By the time they reach standard 12th, by the time they graduate, by the time they start working, they are just mindless machines mugging up information and then presenting it or doing it or executing it somewhere so that they can get a month's pay, which they will use to sustain themselves for working the next month and then the next month, and then get a 2-week vacation of some sort to just go somewhere. Hello, Didi. अगर तुम देख रही हो तो. So that is what grown-up people do. This is his argument. The child is curious, and this curiosity is essentially, this is the more subtle element, the more subtle factor involved here. This curiosity comes with the fact that they are science people. Children are science people. The adults are not interested in science. They're just interested in using their phones and putting up WhatsApp statuses and going out for little walks on the porch, and then trying to probe into the neighborhood. What's the latest rent that someone gave their particular flat out for. मम्मी पापा, पर मैं उनको रेफर कर नहीं सकता. Anyway, there is something happening at a deeper level which is quite sinister, and I'll try to convince you of the fact that it is in fact sinister. So by saying that all children have as their essence to be science people, to be science enthusiasts, what Carl Sagan is doing is making science the essence of what it means to be a child. But this would imply two things. First of all, whatever or whoever as a child is not interested in science is not a child at all, because it is essential to the child to be a science enthusiast, to ask these profound questions. And the second thing is, well, what about the adults? I mean, of course, the point of emphasization here is the children and the romanticization of these children. But this would also mean that all of these other people are stupid, without reason. They're just not interested in science. We cannot do anything about it. They are defective. They're deficient in some way. Now, in the first case, well, is it truly the case that just because a child asks profound questions, he's a scientist, he's a science enthusiast? Well, of course, no, because I used to ask all sorts of stupid questions as a child myself. I used to open up biology books of my sister, my Didi, and I would just look at pictures, not because I was a science enthusiast, but because the pictures were colorful and I liked colors. Oh my God, so many colors, ha ha ha. That is what appealed to me. But to attribute all of that to being a science enthusiast is quite dangerous, isn't it? Because that would make the essence of the child to be a scientist a priori, prior to anything else. The child just is a scientist by itself. And the more dangerous implication this has is, or really the way this whole argument works is, it is not in fact by the merit of science we legitimized the curiosity of the child, but in fact by the merit of the child's curiosity, because we like the child's curiosity, we wish to romanticize it. Through that, we are legitimizing science, because on the basis of that, we say, well, this curiosity comes hand in hand with science. And so therefore, science must be legitimate as well. And you cannot, of course, speak against it if that is the case, because then it is in the essence of the child to be a science enthusiast. It is not at all the case that these older people have reasons to be engrossed in watching Instagram reels because their brain is rotting. And in fact, even science does not provide answers good enough for them to be engrossed in science. No. Science is good in its place. These are the people which we have exteriorized, by the way, right? By the fact of romanticizing these children who are science enthusiasts, we have also at the same time, which we ignore in this whole argument, by the way, demonized these other set of people, the adults, the not so curious, the ones who are not interested in science. They are all just this way because of no reason at all. They're just stupid, right? It's not like they have very reasonable reasons to be as they are. No, they're just stupid. And children really are, in their essence, science enthusiasts. But oh no, not this way. No, not this way, that science is good and then it is a part of the child's curiosity. It is precisely through the child's curiosity that science becomes good, at least by this argument's accord. That was that. Bye.